Okay, good. Yes, we're trying to set up some display here, like some projection.
Okay.
I think we are live. I just turned it on live because I think turn on your camera. Okay. Yes. Yes, hey. We see everyone. I think I'll go on that side too.
Oh, hey.
It's just me. Live some sound. I'm trying to figure out the audio because there are more of us here, so we hear each other.
Oh, here we go, slowly but surely.
Yes, we're trying the Zika hackathon today. So I see another person.
Hey guys.
Hi.
I'm Jack from Brazil. I'm from. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay.
Oh, we get quite a few people.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone, just give us a few minutes. We are in the Singapore hackerspace. We are trying to figure out the sound because there are more of us here and so everyone hears you. Is there a way to connect? Okay, maybe this way. So, just give us a few minutes. We are in the Singapore hackerspace. We are trying to figure out the sound because there are more of us here and so everyone hears you. Maybe it's okay. It's not such a bad sound. Maybe we should leave it. Okay, it's this way. Okay, well, you know what? We will go. We don't need the sound. I think we hear you well. So, hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
So hi everyone from Singapore. There are a couple of us. We're very excited to meet you and I'll try to moderate it. My name is Denisa and together with Miao Ludo, I hope I'm pronouncing your name.
Yep,
so we decided to organize this. So I don't know, everyone should try to introduce yourself.
I'll start. My name is Meow. I founded Biohack Sydney, which is Biohack Sydney and BioFoundry, which is Australia's first biohack space. We have a group of about 40 members, and we meet about once every 2 weeks and we have a lab. How about maybe Tiago next?
Oh, okay, yeah. Hello, I'm Thiago. I'm from Brazil. I'm from Rio, but I live in São Paulo. And I'm from the group at USP. We call the Synthetic Biology Club or something like this. And we got together in a newly formed biohacking space we're trying to make. They're in Garoa Hacker Club. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And there are 2 other guys from there. Perhaps they can introduce themselves now.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you listening to me?
Okay, Lucas. That's Lucas now? Okay, Lucas, go on. I have to mute everyone else because otherwise we get this strange, like, crazy lag. Okay, so go, Lucas. So present yourself. Tell us where you're from.
Hello, people. I'm Lucas. I'm from Brazil. I'm talking from São Paulo. We develop. Are you listening to me? Sorry. Yes. Okay. I'm developing biohacking projects with Otto at Garo Hackerspace, and we've done some research around concerning the Zika virus problem, the Aedes aegypti problem, and we are very excited to talk about you and thinking projects to uh, solve this problem.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? My name is Pedro. I'm from Goiânia. It's more in the countryside of Brazil, but I also study in São Paulo, in University of São Paulo. I'm an undergrad student of biomedical sciences, together with Lucas and Thiago, and I'm also part of the group of synthetic biology of USP, and I'm also trying to help with this project about Zika virus and Aedes control, and I try to figure out some project that we can help about.
Okay, we'll continue, but I want to ask you when to turn off all other, when one person speaks, we have to turn off always the rest, because otherwise this is the first time for me on this Google area. It's quite crazy. So I hope, I will ask, what was your name? Thiago, can you continue, because we didn't hear you.
Okay, yeah. So, as Pedro said, we are biomedical students, biomedical sciences, undergrad students, and we are all together here. Can you hear it? Not yet. Some can, some don't. Okay. Try to speak louder a bit. Can you hear it? No. Yeah, they can. Can you hear Denise? Or
Yes.
oh, so that's okay. I think it's there was some problem with the sound. I didn't grasp it. So yeah, that's it.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes. Yes, please continue. Yes. Yes.
Okay. I don't have much more to say right now, actually.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe introduce some projects that you guys are working on. So I understand all three of you are cooperating on something. Or I know Otto mentioned something. Are you all involved in one project, or you're different projects?
Okay, so we were in the end of last year, we were trying to do some kind of project involving the community. So they would send us the mosquitoes, the Aedes mosquitoes, and then Aedes, whatever, and then we would try to search for Zika, chikungunya, and dengue virus on the mosquitoes. That was the big idea, the big project. So doing PCR or some other method, we didn't really establish that. but we were just planning around and writing up our proposals. We didn't actually do anything related to that yet, but we are still in the process. But yeah, that's pretty much it about Zika virus. We are trying to make our biohacking space. We are building some equipment. We are starting it very in the beginning and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, I was away from São Paulo in the last like 2-3 weeks, so perhaps the other guys can explain better how is everything developing right now.
Sorry, it always takes a while till I unmute the microphones because it's a crazy system. So maybe, Meow, because people didn't hear you because it was this mess, could you speak now? I'll just unmute you. Oops. Okay, speak now.
Hi everyone, I'm from Sydney. I run BioFoundry, which is Australia's first open access biohacking lab. We have a ton of equipment and about 40 people that come along. My interest in Zika came about by looking at this biological problem that should be pretty hackable, especially with some low-cost methods and with enough of the right people together. I think we could actually make some serious difference in countries that are being affected. My background is I'm a geneticist, and I particularly enjoy microfluidics and diagnostics. So this project's right up my alley in the DIY bio section. We've been running our lab for about a year, and we have some pretty cool facilities. So we have the ability to be able to make microarrays, do automated liquid handling. We also have standard hack tools like 3D printers and electronics. What I would really like to see is in real life hackathons happening around the world with groups of hackers working on projects that can be shifted and passed along to other people through like a wiki or something like this. So if somebody lets a project go or comes up with a cool idea, other people can take it and make it into something new. And we have a way of collaborating, and also, as Denisa wrote in the Google document, we have a way to strengthen international collaborations between hackerspaces to affect real change.
Thank you. So I would ask some new people to join. Eric, maybe you should speak next. I'll just always have to mute and unmute these mics.
I think Eric's shy. Eric's one of the biohackers from Sydney.
Okay, then Scott, can I ask you to present yourself? You're the next in line I see here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hi. So I'm Scott Edmonds. I'm here in Hong Kong, representing Hong Kong here. So I wear a number of hats. I run. I'm involved in data publishing through GigaScience, and I work for BGI. I do open data stuff for them, and then I'm involved in Open Data Hong Kong, an open data group here doing open science stuff, yeah, I was hoping Cesar Harada would or someone from MakerBay would attend, because they're a big new makerspace in Hong Kong who are, I think, keen to get involved in help in any way they can. So I can feed on to people here in Hong Kong. And I've been involved in. I'm more on the data side, but I've been involved in previous projects, crowdsourcing disease outbreak data and things like that. So seeing how I can, if there's any way I can help here. And I'm also an iGEM judge and done stuff, iGEM stuff and things like that. So yeah, thanks for organizing this.
Okay. So I will do like a proper presentation now of Singapore. We first freak out with this Google Air Hangout, because I have to also tell you we are public, so maybe some people will join. And it was a bit difficult for me to understand how this works. So hello everyone, we decided to do this with Hackerspace Singapore because we have a DIY bio group, so we were curious in the issue. We are interested in exactly what Miao mentioned, like how can citizen scientists and people interested in open science collaborate across the globe and provide these DIY solutions. And it's different people here, so I don't want to get this impression it's just me. Here's Luther, who actually arranged everything.
Yeah, hi. I'm a member of the Singapore Hackerspace. So I'm just very curious about Zika, and I'm just here to see how I can help find out more and help out where I can. Okay.
And there's
hello. Oh. I'm on to do.
Okay, so we have some actors, and also I'm very happy to say here's Andrew with us, who shared some pretty interesting stories. He's a jungle hacker who has a lot of building scientific equipment in the jungle, yes?
Yeah, I do a lot of design work in the jungle, usually like sensors and actuators with scientists out in the field. And right now I'm super jet lagged. I just got into Singapore last night, and so I'm kind of super out of it. But I'm here and just absorbing it. It's good. It's great.
So we'll have some active lurkers and some people in some semi-conscious state, but we'll see what happens. My interest in the whole field is open science and more on the side of policy. So even in that Google document, which I hope you all see, my interest is, what can be done in terms of policy, because there are all these ideas that maybe the DIY approach actually hurts the public health policy because it creates this libertarian illusion that people will take care of their issues rather than government helping. So that is why I started something like a little topic there. I'm looking into the Google News archive to find out how did the news about the Zika spread and what are the reliable sources. And whether we are not in some media frenzy that will not have any lasting, and maybe it will just help some big pharma to sell their next vaccine or something. So I'm interested in this issue, and a bit as a philosopher, I'm curious about this idea of a non-human enemy. Because, we are able to create these global institutions only when we claim there are some non-human enemies like mosquitoes, viruses, and so on. That's the moment when you see like some global governance or some global calls happening. So I'm curious on this side. So that's much for me, and I still feel like we didn't hear properly the Brazilian group because we had all these audio issues. So guys, if I can, it's great. We also have Andrew Gray. That's a new person that joins. So maybe I'll ask Andrew, and I'll ask our Brazilian friends Lucas, Pedro, and Thiago, if you can, again, one of you send me a message which one wants to summarize what you guys are working on, because it was all these issues here. So Andrew, you will be next. I'll turn off my...
Whoops. It's first time using Google Hangouts, guys. Sorry about that. I'm down in Australia, despite the accent. Setting up a biohacker group down here in Melbourne. Been getting a lot of help from Miao and been very interested in the development of this idea of, I guess, using this collective power that we have with all of our DIY biospaces and hacker spaces to potentially, do something amazing. So I'm really new to this this project. So I'm actually probably going to be a bit more of a listener, and I'll form my thoughts a little bit later. But thank you.
Thiago, can I ask you again to present the Brazilian efforts? Do you know each other? I'm not completely certain what is the connection between you and Otto. Could you say how many groups there are, and are you all in the stage of preparing the grants, or is there already some activity? And also, I'm personally interested, what is your opinion in this, whether it's a media frenzy or there is a real reason for concern, or what you think is missing in terms of data or in terms of some activities, and also what you think we can do, like as a group of DIY open citizen science people and hackers.
Okay, first of all, our relation to Otto. Well, we are all the same group at the University of São Paulo. Unfortunately, there's only one group that, as far as I know, is thinking about these things in a DIY bio contest in Brazil. Would be us. Perhaps we can make more people to join us in the near future. We try to send some emails. But okay, we are same group, and now we are pretty much all the writing grants proposals and doing more theoretical background and stuff. We didn't have time actually to build anything, mostly because this was like the summer vacation, so people just go back home and stay with friends, stay with family. But now the year is really starting in Brazil. We just ended Carnival, so we're starting to make things really work right now. And what I think about the Zika virus situation, yeah, I think it's mostly media frenzy. Like Zika is a bad disease, yeah, of course, but it's not as deadly as many others that are there and affecting much more people and causing much more damage. But yeah, surely, and for being a media frenzy, for being the media, I think it has the power to unite people together to a cause. Like, it has this great situation, opportunity to get people from around the world to really think about and doing projects and creating a global community around, as you said, a common enemy, a common non-human enemy. And yeah, I think what is lacking, we lack data, of course, about transmission, about the virus evolution. And I think the most important point in an academic point of view is to prove the correlation, the causation between microcephaly and Zika. That's the thing that I don't think we can tackle. It's a little bit beyond our possibilities. So what do you think the do-it-yourself bio community and can do? Well, we can surely think about traps and different traps to catch the viruses, to make it more, make it easier to the community to really help taking not get the virus, get the mosquitoes out of the environment. We can do some diagnosing, as you said before, perhaps making it easier and faster to do it in a just horizontal way, not government-based. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Perhaps the other guys have something to add to the point too.
Yeah, I think there must be a way for people that that can like make some send me a message or something when you need to speak, so I don't need actively to manage this. It looks like a bit weird that I'm giving like I'm giving voice. So send a message or make something. Yeah.
We can actually switch off and on our own microphones.
Oh my God, that's amazing! That's great. Please
even
do
it. Even though you're moderator, we can both do it.
Fantastic.
I think one of the other things that might have been mentioned was education for the local citizens. I think this is a really great way to collaborate with people that aren't scientists and utilize a big skill base. So we can bring in people like artists. We can bring in people who are teachers or public communicators, and through this maybe look at if the mosquitoes are the problem and the people in the local community can somehow address this. That would be a fantastic branch of the hack. So whether it's distributing leaflets or somehow getting education to the people in a way they can understand, that'd be fantastic. The other thing was in the Google document at the very top, there was 3 kind of core areas, which was what can the communities and citizens do during the unfolding crisis. So it might just be as simple as creating a support group or circulating information or allowing free flow of information. Propose ideas and projects for collaborative action, and then how to strengthen and enable the collaboration between the various hacker spaces. I think those are the 3 really key parts of it. I'd love to hear anyone else.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
about what you said, I think education is a really important factor in this all this situation, because what we are seeing here is a lot of misinformation, a lot of conspiracy journalistic texts that are popping out, and it's really hard because we have a straightforward situation. There's a virus that is transmitted by a mosquito that is maybe causing this huge health problem, and people are saying a lot of other stuff, and this may be misleading us from what is really important. But what I was about to say is that when Otto and I were thinking about how to really tackle this problem here in Brazil, we concluded that this problem is not just a biotechnological or technological issue, because it's a social issue. It's also a social issue. We have this huge Aedes aegypti problem that repeats itself every year. Every year you have a Aedes aegypti epidemic around the summer. Usually the I don't know, the highest levels of mosquito are in the diseases transmitted by the mosquito are in March and April. So this year we are still in risk of new epidemics of Zika, dengue, and chikungunya here in Brazil. And we thought that there is technology to diagnose the disease. There is technology to trace the evolution, the epidemic. So maybe in some regions of the country, like the northeastern region where the epidemic began, maybe there's a lack of resources there to do all the diagnosis that we needed to do. However, we have the technology, so maybe the problem is not just technological. It's not just about making better diagnosis or cheaper. This is very important, of course, but maybe we have to think about how to engage the community, how to make people from all the country, all the places, really engage and participate in this project, because it's a public health issue, right? You know, we are all responsible in taking care about how the mosquito is spreading and how the situation is getting worse. I don't know. What do you think?
I will shortly mention what is going on this public health issue, like what is going on in Singapore. We have quite an amazing policy in terms of mosquito fight and like campaigns, like communication campaigns on. We are basically in a constant war with the mosquitoes, and we have even a special police force that can come to your home and visit you to check whether you're doing the right thing in terms of not breeding mosquitoes. And it's funny, like people make fun of it, but actually it's very efficient. And still there are like these dengue outbreaks, so something is going on probably with the climate. So these diseases and mosquitoes are spreading whatever we do. But still, I'm wondering, I did hear a criticism on one of the initial proposals for this like hackathon was like, guys, this is like a public health problem, like DIY will not resolve it. This is more like an issue in the poorest region of Brazil, in Bahia and all these like places where people have like no basically means to fight or don't even understand, I guess, how mosquitoes are evil. So that was one of my questions. What can we like do as a DIY people to support that public health? Should we like make a maps that shows that poverty relates more to these spreads of diseases rather than create these DIY traps? I don't know. I feel also very ambivalent about the possible solutions, whether we create like cheap DIY traps or somehow make some posters or make some campaigns for people to be aware of the issue. or we should like push the policymakers to put more money into prevention, into like destruction of these mosquitoes and so on. So it's interesting to hear that actually you also feel as a scientist that basically more should be done on that level of policy rather than DIY. But my feeling is maybe these two approaches can help each other, and question is how. Anyone wants to continue from here? Or add some new topic. I mean, I'm interested actually in you, Scott, because when we were like brainstorming, we had some interesting ideas that maybe this is an opportunity also to create like a relation between citizen scientists, so people which are already motivated to contribute data or do some scientific work on the ground, and some companies or institutions that have the means to do the diagnosis or do some research on it. So if you want to continue and tell us maybe some ideas or some examples, I know BGI and you know many examples of the citizen science projects that are already happening.
So yeah, I was hoping I passed on the details of all of this to some researchers at Birmingham who they worked with us on this E. coli crowdsourcing, and they were involved in the Ebola crisis, and they're a nice example that they've got these new tools that you can basically create data in real time from these like nanopore sequences, look at the evolution over, like evolution of the virus in real time, but then you need it then becomes a data limiting issue where you need people on the ground to like run these things, keep sampling, and that could be there's been a few examples of people doing citizen science with these nanopore sequences now, but they're still a bit expensive, and people have to I think they got some donations for them and stuff, but that was it would have been interesting to get their perspective, and at least they could help get some early data that then we could make cheaper diagnostics and cheaper assays, and I don't know, maybe open PCR based tests or something like that. That then more having a more distributed networks could help with. That was that was some of the stuff that I think we were throwing back and forth, but unfortunately those guys didn't come on the conversation.
Just to jump in, I think that just leading on from what you were saying, there are some really good, cheaply producible diagnostic tests that wouldn't involve necessarily PCR that could be done on site. So things like in the Google document, it talked a bit about paper microfluidics. So if you know the target that you're looking for, it's quite easy to do diagnosis. The sequencing is good to track the evolution of the virus. But if you just wanted a qualitative answer, just a yes or a no, whether this species of mosquito was carrying it or this individual population was carrying it, that would be something that would be relatively cheap to produce and upload the data to a shared group. And it could be produced by hack labs around the world and sent to the places where they think this might be happening. And obviously in Singapore, for example, if you wanted to know whether there's an outbreak there, you could be handing this out. And I saw in the document that even though a lot of these areas are often poorer regions, they still have access to mobile phones. So there might be a way you could couple an application with a diagnostic test, like they did in Fukushima, where the citizen scientists actually became civic scientists. So they were streaming real-time data that they were collecting into a map that was shared by everyone, so you could see when outbreaks were occurring and take added precautions, but you could couple that with some information behind to say, if this is happening in your region, these are the steps you can take to slow it down, prevent it, or protect yourself further. And I think that's an area that could actually be worked on by groups around the world. And as long as the science has been done, which I had a quick look online, we can do saliva-based tests to see if people are infected. We should be able to do a test with a mosquito as well. What we can do is make the technology, which is where universities often fall down, is translating this really good science into on-the-ground technology that's cheaply and easily accessible by the public. Go ahead, anyone.
I'm curious from people in Brazil. What do you think about this idea? Or are there any like maps? Because here in Singapore, also Luther reminded me of this. You have this amazing like dengue outbreak map, so you can see whether in your neighborhoods there are more cases, or like, are there any type of maps that show to the citizens in these regions what is happening, or are there any efforts for people to report what is happening?
So this was one of the ideas, because we don't have this kind of map here, at least in São Paulo, that show which regions are more propense to develop, to people get infected. So one of the ideas was to diagnose, collect the mosquitoes from different regions of São Paulo, and diagnose the mosquito if it's infected or not with dengue, chikungunya, or Zika virus, and create a map that tells what regions have mosquitoes, and by what virus these mosquitoes are infected. And another, but until now we don't have this kind of map here, at least in São Paulo. And we guess this would help a lot would help to create I don't know, would help to fight the mosquito, since we know which areas are at bigger risk. And I believe another problem is the molecular diagnosis is not before the Zika problem. The molecular diagnosis wasn't even done, because I've already have the dengue fever, and the diagnosis was just by the symptoms. They didn't make the molecular diagnosis, so I don't even know what kind of dengue virus I have, the type of the virus. So I guess just now with the Zika virus, they are starting to make the molecular diagnosis. So I guess a cheap molecular diagnosis and give the population access to this diagnosis. I guess this paper diagnosis would help people to diagnose themselves and bring information. We can bring together information and help to fight the Zika and the other virus.
Meow, how difficult? I mean, what do we need in order to make these like paper diagnostic tools? Like, what is the needed? You probably need some samples. I think does it identify some antibodies from the samples, or how does it work actually?
The first paper I looked at was using saliva from humans, so it can give you a diagnosis. It said it was actually more effective than taking it from blood, but it was looking at RNA, which is a little bit trickier to work with. Traditionally, in paper-based microfluidics, you can do RNA paper-based diagnostics. You just need to add an extra step, so you need to do the reverse transcriptase. Generally, the way that it works is it has, you take your raw sample, you extract the RNA or the DNA. In this case, we've got RNA. You use a reverse transcriptase, and then you use either a fluorescent probe with a thing called LAMP, which is loop-mediated isothermal PCR. The good thing about this is that it's at one temperature, so it will just passively amplify. In Africa, they generally do it with just the hand warmers that are chemically activated inside a styrofoam tub. So overall, it's quite a cheap test, and the paper-based microfluidics will display a color or a fluorescence based on whether the sample is there or not. All the reagents can be lyophilized. Because you're doing such a small diagnostic test, it brings the cost right down. If you incorporate microfluidics into it, you can reduce the cost even more, but the cost of producing the initial chip is quite high. The good thing about making a chip, though, is that you can you can make it electronic, so the entire thing can be powered, but it means that each test can potentially go up. It's the type of thing, if you're going to make it electronic, where you would have one group of people sharing one device, so you'd have it centralized at like a town hall or a hack space. If you have a paper-based device, you could actually mass produce them. We've got one person working in our space at BioFoundry, and she's made a 3D printed attachment that goes onto the back of a mobile phone and takes a photo. I think that would be an over-engineered solution to this problem, but it could also, because it can be engineered to do a quantitative analysis as well. But we actually have all of the reagents we would need to do this, except for the primers we would need to detect it. But they're available in the paper that's in the Google document.
I believe there is a problem here because, if I'm not mistaken, the symptoms just appear a week after you were infected by the virus. So at least in dengue fever. So I don't know if it also happens with the Zika virus, but when the symptoms appear, you don't even have the virus in your blood anymore. So I believe the using a saliva using RNA, detecting RNA wouldn't be very effective. I guess in this case we would have to detect the antibodies.
I'm just going to quickly read through the paper now and find out what the limit on detection is. I'll only be a moment.
Yeah. I'm thinking like, it seems to me like the priority from, if I can summarize the discussion so far, the priority seems to be more these like maps on which people can at least like get some sense of the outbreak, because the informations are very alarmist and they come mainly from these press releases by different Ministry of Health and all these organizations, and people cannot read through data. So I also feel something that Lucas mentioned, that there is a lot of misinformation. So maybe, you know, one possible project could be how to fight misinformation through creating these maps that actually show, maybe even people just uploading that they have a symptom, even if they're not certain if it's a dengue or something, but it would be like a crowdsourcing project. So something about these maps could be a potential way either to fight the misinformation, but I'm also a bit worried maybe it will amplify it, because people, when they see other people having the symptoms, you know, they can easily convince themselves of having the same symptom. And then I'm definitely interested if more people would join to do this. I think it's an interesting case to see the infection spreading through the media, just to like monitor where the news came from, how it picked up, and how it amplified, and how it's creating a bit of like this, you know, some form of a horror story, and maybe it's actually counterproductive in a way. But on a positive side, like this is the perfect situation when to do some Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaign and either develop these cheap paper microfluidic diagnostic things, or, you know, like create, like for you guys in Brazil, something we can all support, like some campaign that will get you some money to start a real project rather than waiting for these big grants. I'm just thinking now that that's a possible action item. And also, I would say this nanopore Ebola team, I forgot the name of the guys, but they sounded pretty interested to work with some people on the ground and see how the nanopore sequencer can be used in the case of Zika virus. And they're working actually on it, so I'll try to connect you, and maybe there is also a potential way also to see, because these are much more hard core data that you can get from the nanopore rather than, and maybe there is also a virus we don't know about and we don't see it, because everything I read sounds it was pretty much a chaos in the May when it started, and they were not certain what is attacking people. Anyone wants to continue with something you find more relevant, or the next thing we could do as a community?
Can I talk?
Yeah.
When you sorry, when we were discussing about this issue, we thought exactly what you were saying. We had an idea to somehow make this app or something, make people engage in a way that we could have scientific benefits, so we could map the mosquitoes or the virus, and at the same time we could engage people in doing that. That's what community engagement is all about, right? So we thought that maybe develop this app that people could I don't know, maybe fighting the mosquito would be gamified. I don't know if it, we say like that, because we think that there is a public health public interest in that. So it's a good approach, and people are motivated by points and awards, right? So that's one thing. Another thing that we thought it's very easily done. I don't have the knowledge to do it, but people said that it's easy to do it. It's to make a way to identify these mosquitoes by photos. Maybe a software, an automatic software, or a peer software that I say that this mosquito is ads, this mosquito is not ads, and so we could map, not telling what are the infected ones, what ones are carrying Zika or dengue or chikungunya, just to map the mosquitoes and where the most probable places that disease could rapidly spread. So I think there's a good way to approach the problem by doing this, by joining these two approaches. And I think that I don't know how would the microfluidic device work, but if it could be attached to this app, this would make it even more complete. I don't know.
I think the gamification idea is really a really good way to get people engaged. I think that the good thing about gamifying it is that you can also gamify other aspects. So you can encourage people to combat shoddy journalism and disinformation by posting rebuttals to certain articles. So it helps empower people. So every time I post a rebuttal to an article, I could get points, even if I'm not out testing. But if I'm out testing, I can also get points. So it's a way for everyone to get some sort of recognition for the work that they're doing. And especially if you get a group of high school students with mobile phones, it's a really good way for them to say, I can make a difference, because often they're going to feel quite powerless. Even if they only have access to the internet, they still have a way to educate their friends and things like that.
Sorry guys, I came on a little bit late, but when you guys started this, did you guys have like an agenda, or was there a specific walk away or take away from this meeting? I mean, are we leaving, just so I'm kind of staying up to speed here with where we're going? It sounds like there's a few good ideas regarding a multiple kind of pronged approach to the Zika virus outbreak, and it'd be great to kind of have maybe some takeaways. I'm not sure how much longer you guys all have and how long this video call has been going.
Can anyone else hear Denisa? No. Okay. I've written some brief notes. I think the main thing at the start was at the top of the Google document, it had 3 key points, which were what can the communities and citizens do in the unfolding Zika virus crisis, ideas, proposed ideas, projects for collaborative action and crowdfunding, which I think we've definitely touched on the collaborative action and projects. We haven't hugely touched on the crowdfunding. And the third point was how to strengthen and enable collaboration between various hackerspaces. I think that final, so the 2 points that we really need to cover is maybe crowdfunding or collaborative action, and how can we join the hackerspaces. And I'm also happy to hear anyone what can the communities and citizens do to unfold. If we have, I've got some brief notes here, but if anyone wanted to contribute anything extra to that, that would be fantastic.
Well, how has the Facebook group been going for? Is that pretty much the main form that we're all using here? If so, maybe we should just look to organize another follow-up meeting. Should we each try to pair off? I'm not sure how many different hackerspaces we have here, but maybe we could pair off to look at some of the proposed ideas, and then return back with some proposed examples at the next meeting, or some proposed steps to executing them at the next meeting. So, what would everybody's timeline be for another meeting in about a fortnight, or is that too late, or is that what's fortnight? Yeah. Okay. So if we meet another fortnight, maybe we should just circulate. Meow, you've got the note. Go ahead.
Sorry. Did you want to do an update? Or we'll just wait for Denisa to come back.
Yeah.
Hi, Denisa.
Yes, hi.
We were just discussing some outcomes from the meeting, and we were thinking about when it would be good to have another one. I think it would be good at the very least to have a group chat or something along those lines in a week's time. Maybe come up with some deliverables for the week after, and then we'll have a Skype once we've done the tasks we've set by next week. So 1 week from now, have some ideas of things we want to do, and then everyone takes ownership over them. I think it would be really cool if we paired people up with an international partner. So myself and someone from overseas could work on a group of things, and Andrew and someone from Singapore, for example, could work on a group of things, and then the following week we can report back to the group with the things that we've done.
Yes, I like the idea. I think we should just make a summary now in the Google Doc. What are these 3 potential projects I see, or 3 issues that interest us? One is about this, for me, like citizen science, educational projects around monitoring mosquitoes and monitoring infection, and how to gamify it, and how to fight like misinformation. Another one is something more on the diagnostic side. If some people are excited about that, it would be great, and I really like it because I think it can also show like how in some sense like professional this DIY movement can get, whether we can develop such diagnoses. And in all cases, I would also strongly ask all people, especially in Brazil, that you should consider whether we should run some campaigns so we get you the money you need for the projects you want to do, because I know you're all in some early stage of getting grant money, but that takes a lot of time, and I would say maybe it's faster to just crowdfund it, some of these initial projects. So I don't know, let us know what you think about it, and let's see how we can continue and who wants to work on what. And sorry for the short, I had a power issue with my computer. I was running on batteries.
How many members are there from Brazil, just out of curiosity, here in the chat group? Three? Or is that so just one? One.
I believe we can engage a lot of people, about, I don't know, 10 people, 15 people to help. That are also part of the synthetic biology group. I guess all of them would be pleased to help us, but also in the university we can, I don't know, talk to the people of our courses, and if we need more people to do the hard work. But I guess first we have to determine what are the tasks. What are we going to do exactly? So once this has been established, we can find more people to help and do the hard work.
Okay, so my proposal is let's put on Google Doc what you remember and put it in these 3 categories, and let's see, and put your name under what you would like to work on. And we meet, like, I don't know, we'll try to meet in a week. We'll again, like, announce through the emails, through some email list when we will meet, and we will see how this goes. I mean, for a first meeting, I think it went pretty well. At least we learned how to use Google Air, almost. And I want to thank you, all of you, for joining us. I know it's very early in the morning for some in Brazil and very late in the evening for Australia. But I hope more people will join, and it's a really, like, I'm certain people from Indonesia, here in Singapore, we are all like worried about the situation, and I think there is a lot of reasons for a lot of people in the tropics, at least, to join this initiative and see how we can work with the scientific institutions and policymakers and do something about it. So thank you, everyone. If anyone wants to say something, I'll turn it off. If not.
I just wanted to say, just add your names to the top of the Google document. I was taking minutes throughout the call. If you want to add anything in, feel free to. And I'll schedule an event in the Facebook group for this time next week. And I want to say thank you to everyone again. It's bloody awesome to get everyone from around the world online at the same time. And I think what happened tonight is hopefully the start of something very exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. It's really. And